You gotta tell us you want to be a dentist. Who knows, maybe we'll be able to get some dentists down here to help you learn how to be a dentist. That's what we're trying to do.
What you want to be? What you want to be when you get out? If you could be anything in the world, what do you want?
She want to be a singer.
Oh, girl, you can sing? I bet you can. I bet you can. What do you want to be? Y'all can sing. You want to be a singer too? Girl, you got a girl group. Really? That's cool. That's so fun. What do you want to be with this water bottle? A doctor. You know what type of doctor yet, or you just want to be a doctor? Tell us what you want to be when you grow up.
I want to be a scientist.
Ooh, you want to be a scientist? You want to find a cure for cancer? Yeah.
Cure for everything.
Oh, okay.
First, I had to do one little potion. Invincibility potion first. And then I had to do the rest of it.
Brandon, what do you want to be when you get older?
I think I need
A mega what? A megatronic engineer?
Yes.
Wow.
What? You changed
Thank
to
you.
a scientist to a minor to a scientist.
The primary purpose of this organization is to end childhood homelessness and poverty through educational achievement and success. What we need to do is make sure that these children learn how to fish rather than just become accustomed to receiving fish. What that means is we need to teach them the life skills and the professional and career skills necessary to attain viable employment later on in life so that they can take care of themselves and they can come back into the impoverished environments and share their success story. You might be the only person who speaks faith, hope, and love into this child. It makes them believe that they can do something with themselves. Share your time and talents. It's very rewarding. You definitely leave with a sense of peace, a sense of connectedness, and a sense of purpose.
Hey, look at that. How awesome was that throw? Look at that. That was like perfect. Best throw all day. Nice job. Keep doing that.
You know what I'm tired of?
Get up!
What you tired of? With shoes without socks.
Speed!
You know what I'm tired of?
Go next. Stop crying.
Take the shower without no soap.
Speed! Alright.
You
Go.
know what I'm tired of?
What you tired of?
Sleeping on dirty mats.
Speed! Stop crying. Okay, alright. Go ahead.
You know what I'm tired of? What you tired of?
These
homeless people walking around with their pants off and no drawers.
Speed!
You know what I'm tired of?
What you tired of?
I'm tired of these homeless bums.
Speed! Nobody cares about me. You know what I'm tired of?
What you tired of?
I'm tired of sleeping on that floor in there and them bugs biting me and they don't clean up in there.
Speed.
Speed!
Speed.
I can't hear you. Speed!
Speed.
You got a voice. Speed!
Speed.
I can't hear you.
Speed.
Say I'm tired.
I'm
Say
tired.
I'm better than that.
I'm better than that.
Check yourself.
Check yourself. Check yourself.
Y'all hurry up so y'all can go in.
Yeah, they're running out of food, y'all. I think that's what he's calling you over for.
Y'all ready? What is it?
You know what I'm tired of?
What you tired of?
Being homeless.
Aww.
My name is Dr. Aldewan Tart. I am a psychologist, also a minister, and I've been working with children and families for over 16 years, and I'm a native Atlantan. What we know about what's important for children's development is that they have to be taken care of. Well, children are not necessarily separated from their parents, but they're not being stimulated. They're not being read to, they're not being picked up, they're not coloring with them, they're not spending time with them, they're not hugging them, they're not showing affection. And this happens in a lot of homes where parents are depressed, mental illness, drugs and alcohol, or they're second or third generation of being neglected themselves. So they think this is the norm. The baby cries, you just let the baby keep crying. You have to get over it, you know. Hey, if the milk is spilled, no need to cry over spilled milk, they'll get over it. And they think that that's the norm because there's not enough documented, there's not enough psychoeducation on what's developmentally appropriate and what parents should be doing. All you know is what you've seen. And if what you've seen is neglectful, that's what you'll perpetuate with your own children.
Oftentimes it is easy to disregard another situation because we do not see it or understand it. All parents want the best for their children. That is why I empathize with these homeless parents. They too want the best for their children but cannot provide it. The closest thing to a playground is an abandoned lot and the foundation of a demolished building full of trash, glass, and debris. The closest thing to toys are sticks, bricks, 2x4 planks, aluminum cans, dirt, and empty plastic water bottles. Yet the most amazing thing is that they are still running, smiling, playing, and somehow staying jovial. I want to share my time and talents every day with these homeless children by providing a free after-school educational program. These people don't have money and they don't have the resources to support themselves. So we have to be able to create an after-school program that doesn't require money and doesn't require them to bring any resource to the table but the desire to learn and better themselves. And when we do that as mentors, as teachers, as helpers of the homeless, that's when we help these people rise out of their situation, not by giving them what they need, but by providing them with the skills necessary to raise themselves up. Because then they have self-esteem, pride, and self-worth in themselves. Rather than taking, they're achieving. And that's a big difference when you're talking psychologically, developing your self-concept, who you are, having confidence in yourself. You need to do it yourself. You need to believe you can do it yourself. Otherwise, you're accepting a helping hand your whole life. And we're not looking to have these people depend on a helping hand their whole life, depend on a welfare state their whole life. We're looking to put these people into professional situations where they are taking care of themselves, taking care of their families, contributing back into society through work and taxes and things like that, and then come back and, as I've said, be part of the positive feedback loop of the impoverished actually raising the impoverished out of poverty.
My name is Felicia Johnson. I'm a retired school teacher. I served a little over 30 years in the classroom. I truly believe that teaching was a calling for me from God because it was such a rewarding experience. Children that are deprived of necessities at home face many challenges in the classroom. They came in behind grade level. It was very difficult for them to catch up, to even be on grade level like their peers were. You can tell that they were not getting the support from home, and it probably wasn't their fault or not even the parents' fault. They just didn't have the means to getting the child what they needed to succeed at home and in the classroom. Learning ABCs and 1, 2, 3s were not something a child who were being deprived had on their mind.
So what happens is when a child is homeless, you rob them of the very basics of stability. When we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the very bottom is meeting someone's basic needs, safety and security. It's at the very bottom. That comes above a child's need to be loved. That comes above the ability to develop self-esteem. We can't even think about love if we're in an environment that's not safe and it's unstable.
One day a mother came to me and asked for $5 for school supplies. I'm very adamant about that. I don't give money when I'm out there helping the poverty-stricken people, but I told her if she gave me a list of the school supplies that she needed, I would be very happy to go buy them for her. So she gave me a list of the school supplies, and I also offered my assistance for educational tutoring. When we had that conversation, I left that day realizing that the best way I could help would be to share my time and talents as a certified teacher to help these students who don't have an equal opportunity in school to do their homework, complete projects, and make sure that they can get the school supplies necessary to do the assignments. Because if they don't have the support, they don't have the technology, and they don't have the resources, we can't realistically expect these children to do what we ask them to do. So all the homework that's due tomorrow is turned in, right? And on Monday you have a project on Susan B. Anthony, right? Did I say that right? Okay, cool. Do you have any other questions or any other help you need right now? No? Okay, high five. I'm proud of you. You did a good job. Alright, you gotta leave my pencil, okay? Put my pencil right here so that your sister can use it next. Put this back in your backpack. Make sure you get your spelling homework done tonight. You don't need help with math or nothing?
I don't have math.
You don't have math? Okay, good. You want to talk into the camera right quick? You don't? Okay, cool. Alright.
When we start talking about the development of children, them missing developmental milestones is devastating, and it's an uphill battle to correct them. Let's talk about education. We know that prisons are built based upon the reading level of 8-year-olds. All right? So, all right, let me break that down a little bit more. How do you project the growth industry of prisons? How do you know how many you're going to need in the next 15 to 20 years? What they found out is that if you're looking for the next generation of children and adults that are going to be in prison, we can predict that based upon how well they read at 8 years old. Matter of fact, it's to the point where when psychologists talk about interventions, they're telling us to get rid of anger management programs. They're telling us to get rid of every program that does not directly address a kid's ability to read on grade level at 8. All right? So if we could do one thing to reverse the course for a kid, it would be help him or her to be able to read on grade level at 8 years old.
What homework do you have? Do you have any projects due? Any homework? You got study? Okay, what subject do you have to study? Reading? Okay, put study reading under your name. So which state looks like a perfect square, a perfect box? Okay, what's the name of that one?
Wyoming.
Wyoming, good job. That's Wyoming. Go ahead and write Wyoming in your next answer box.
We as educators have many hats that we have to wear. And to me, the most important hat is the hat of a surrogate parent. We need to treat all of our children as if they were our own. Because, you know, we don't know this, but the best part of their day could be the time that they spend in our classroom. So while they're there, we need to love on them and treat them like they're special, because they are.
There's a book by Malcolm Gladwell called Tipping Point. All right? It talks about crime in a neighborhood increases when the amount of men in the neighborhood decrease below 11. So if you have 11 men, it's some magical number about 11. If you have 11 men on a block that are visible, the crime goes down. And the reason for that is they know that men operate in a certain way. So when they come home and they see kids fighting or kids outside supervised, men typically come outside, play football with them, ask them what's going on. And what we know about communities is that the presence of an adult male is incredibly important. And so when there's an absence of males, then the crime tips to a point that it shouldn't be, and that's why it's important for policies to be adjusted.
Awesome.
Hey, what park y'all play at?
Sand Hill. So the culture shift that we're looking to create with this documentary is that we shift away from food and clothing and giving people fish, because it takes away responsibility and accountability of these people. What we need to do is offer our time and talents. What are you good at, and how can you share? How can you provide these people with life skills and life information so that they can go out and be uplifted and empowered, and then attain employment, and then pay back taxes, and then feed into the system, and then come back to the impoverished areas and feed the positive feedback loop we're trying to develop, where we empower the homeless, and then the empowered homeless come back and rise those that are in homelessness up. So sharing time and talents is what I think the next step in philanthropy has to be, beyond just food and clothing.
We need more people out here to be activists in the community.
Awesome.
So as long as we're doing our part, then maybe the city will start doing their part, instead of just trying to keep people out.
Preach.
We need to learn how to all come together again and be a village.
Careful behind you.
One of the things that we have to take personal as human beings, and definitely Georgians and Atlantans, is that no child should ever be homeless. And what we have to do, instead of blame, we have to look at the circumstances that created homelessness, because it could happen to any of us. Some of us, many of us, are only a couple of paychecks away from losing our own housing. And what happens when you don't have family, friends, or a supportive church environment to support you? What happens when government agencies are taxed and not properly funded so they can hire the social workers, or they can fund the foster homes, or the training of foster moms and dads to be able to meet the need? We're in a state of crisis. Anytime there's a homeless child in Atlanta, that's something that should offend everyone. That's something that we all should take personally, because we know what to do. We know the right things to do, and if we don't take care of homeless children and their families, we become co-belligerents in their lack of development. We create the very crime that we say we don't want. We create the very miseducation, undereducation that is holding our state and our nation back. If we're able to help these families in their times of need, get established with the basics, which is safety, security, food, and the ability and the education on how to properly educate their children, we'll find out that these families are resilient and can take care of themselves and be model citizens that then return to that very spot and fund those same initiatives so that this city can make sure that no child, no family is homeless ever again.
Get back in your show. Get the money.
State right next to Georgia. Which state is right next to Georgia?
South Carolina.
Yep.
That's where I'm from.
You're from South Carolina. That's pretty cool. How'd you get to Georgia? You're awesome.
From here to Atlanta, over here.
One thing that I like to say is complacency is complicity. And what that means is for somebody to be aware of the childhood homelessness and poverty epidemic and be complacent with it is the same, and do nothing about it is the same as contributing to the epidemic, because you're not doing anything to fix it. Okay? Complicity means that you're aware of a crime or a wrongdoing and you do nothing about it, and so that makes you an accessory to the crime or the problem. So for people to be aware of childhood homelessness and poverty and do nothing about it is just as bad as making these people fall deeper into poverty. I really feel like it's our mission as empowered, uplifted, and especially educated citizens to go into the impoverished areas and help. Our job as humans and as a human community is to help each other. And we need to realize that even though your immediate family may not be in poverty, as a species, as a society, we still suffer consequences of people dealing with poverty and homelessness. I always ask people to put yourself in their situation, put yourself in their shoes, and how would you feel? And hopefully then the answer will come from your heart and you'll know what you're supposed to do. Share your time and talents. Don't be complacent about this very pressing issue of childhood poverty and homelessness, and do what's in your heart. That's the best advice I can say, is do what's in your heart, because that'll be the right thing and you'll have fun doing it.
You know
What?
being homeless.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Come Come on. I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself? I'm tired of being poor and even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch. Cops give it to me.
And what we need to do is remember the kids. I'm gonna give y'all a song to think about. I believe the children are future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty that they have inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Show the children laughter. Remind us how we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to feel the need. It's a lonely place for them kids to come up without anyone to feel the need. Someone that can wrap their arms around instead of abusing and scorn, instead of showing them the wrong path. And that's what the world becoming today. Our kids need some guidance. They took spanking out of school. They took the Pledge of Allegiance out of school, and they turned our kids into what? Murderers. Kids going to prison now with life sentences at the age of 12. Younger than that, and then going to juvenile, going on into the prison system. It's not a motivation place in the prison system. It's not a self-esteem place in the prison system. You can't build no life in the prison system. All the wrong things you don't know on the street, when you go in there, you learn. We got to start, first of all, with ourselves. Learn how to love each other, no matter what color it is. That's what God died for. Bless Thanksgiving.
Hey.